first of all, thank you so much, and congratulations to all of this year's award winners. But this award specifically means to me so much. I'm so thankful to my parents and my brother, who've meant so much to me and mean so much to me in my life, in my development, certainly in my earlier years and childhood. And if I can just touch on that briefly, my father certainly instilled a work ethic in me, and my mother, who battled some tough health conditions throughout her life, really instilled a message of never quit, never give up. And my brother is just an extraordinary person who's always stayed true to who he is. And that was not always that easy for him. As we all know, childhoods can be difficult, and he reminded me to always stay true to who I am. So when I look back over time in these moments, it's when you realize who means so much to you and who's impacted you. And based on this award's meaning of mentoring others, I'm just so thankful first for my immediate family, who really have helped shape me into the person I am today, and thank them so much. And of course, my wife, Lauren, is a remarkable person. She is so independent, so strong, and in many ways had also been through an interesting and involved life at a young age, and I saw the strength that she carried when I first met her, and golf game that was better than mine, and still is. But she's been an incredible support system behind every effort that we make as golf professionals for our membership and for our staff, and in this particular case. But overall, it's a great thankfulness that I carry with me every day, and appreciation for those that have really helped shape me into who I am today. Again, a great appreciation for those that we all work with. And I was very fortunate to work for some great golf professionals and people. And what I noticed early on is that each of these professionals focused so much on the individual's development. They were willing to have the difficult conversation to open up a greater meaning behind being a golf professional and who we are as people for our memberships or for our community or for our family. And I've always been reminded of that now in a position, and have been for a few years, where that's my responsibility. And I've taken it very seriously as a result, because I see how impactful it was. And since you've asked for a few specifics, my very first internship working for Tony Pancake at Baltimore Country Club in 1999, never had I seen someone so positive on a daily basis, even when it was a tough day, to a member. When member facing, he always said, "I'm fantastic, I'm great." And I also realized he would pick up every piece of trash on property, which wasn't many, but he would pick up every piece of trash. So that's one tiny example, but as I think back through my career and who I've worked for, I've been very, very fortunate. Doug Steffen at Baltusrol really taught me what it means to work hard alongside your team. There are many nights where he was there before us, and nights where he left with us into the late hours of the evening as member guests and outings go. So you're never better than your team when it comes to your own schedule. And that message was driven home there in a great way. There's so many. I don't want to offend anyone by leaving any professional out, but I'll touch on a few others. And since you mentioned Augusta National, but Tony Sessa and J.J. Weaver are two golf professionals that care so much about the development of their team. They leave nothing untouched. And I now do the same with my team. We do something that's called a personal assessment exercise. And it can get pretty prickly, but we evaluate one's life on a deeper level. We have every person on our team identify what's important to them in life, excluding golf. And then within those priorities, we have them score them on a scale, 0 to 10. And we reprioritize their focus in life so that they can be a better golf professional. Identifying the skill sets, that's a very easy side of what we do as mentors and developers of talent. So that comes through our educational calendar. Once we identify the opportunities for every staff member on our team, we develop an educational calendar that's specific to those skill sets. But the takeaway here, at least for me in my life, is setting that aside. That's something we really should be doing, and all of us do so well as golf professionals. But the personal side and really being there on that level for your team is the difference that I see. and really appreciate others that showed me that how important that was. Yeah, golf is such a great avenue for relationship building. Actually just came off the golf course this morning with our club president and a couple other officials, and we had the same comment of what an amazing sport in such a unique year. Golf affords that personal time, and in the industry, 4 hours on the golf course or 3 hours and 45 minutes is that amazing time. So I've made it a point to try to play golf with as many former assistants that I've worked with, whether it be at a trade show or any other group that brings us together from educational programs, different clubs that we might support. The Taplow Club through the PGA Magazine has been a wonderful networking opportunity. Golf Business Network is another great opportunity. There's so many educational arms that are out there to all of us as golf professionals, and using those as a resource to really stay in touch. And now more than ever, it's a quick phone call, checking on someone, asking how they're doing. Don't tell me how you're doing in golf, but how are you doing? Is there anything that I can do to help you personally? And again, that's the important side of this, and being a real teammate. Pros for Clothes Foundation is an idea that really started. My wife and I were working at Bonita Bay Club at the time in Naples, Florida, and we had moved the same box of shirts back and forth from Baltusrol to Bonita Bay. And we had about a 20-hour car ride driving to our new place of employment. We were going to the DC area, and 20 hours in the car, we realized this box had traveled some mileage, and it could do a lot better going to someone who needed that clothing. It was excess staff uniforms from my 4 internships, which had been with me for 6 years. Why somebody would hold on to those, maybe it's a golf thing, but at that moment I realized there were 20,000 golf professionals that likely had a similar box somewhere, and that we could collect this global effort, if you will, national effort, to get this excess clothing to people in need. And it quickly blossomed from there. Very fortunate, a few members, I was working at Congressional Country Club at the time, and the way this game works, after a lesson, a member sort of tapped me on the arm and said, "What else is going on in your life?" And I just simply said to him, "Well, my wife and I have this idea. We have excess clothing." Shared the exact story I just shared with you, and 2 weeks later, we're in his boardroom in Washington, D.C., with others in the room that he had facilitated the meeting. And long story short, they wrote the Articles of Incorporation bylaws and set us up as a 501c3, and that was December of 2009. Since then, we've been a fully functioning nonprofit. We've reached over 220,000 pounds of clothing donated to people in need within the United States. Around the world, we have excess clothing partners to include Peter Millar, Bobby Jones, FootJoy, PRG, Summit Golf Brands, who send us excess clothing through their avenues. And now more than ever, we are supporting natural disaster relief efforts, hurricanes, forest fires. So we're able to send clothing to those communities to then outfit those in need. So we're growing. We're very pleased to share. We just brought on our first employee. So we've been around 10 years. And intentionally, we wanted to keep a very low overhead, essentially no overhead. But we've grown to a point where we needed some support, and Lisa Raley is our executive director now, and she's taking us to another level. And we've got some pretty large ideas in mind, and eventually we'll branch into other causes such as shelter, health, education. So we're very excited about that, and appreciate you asking about that. I'll start with my teammates here at Saucon Valley, and really every place I've ever worked. As golf professionals, we really have this incredible opportunity to forge amazing relationships with our teammates. We spend more time at our places of business than we do with our own families, and that comes at a great sacrifice. But if there's anything in this world that can make up for that sacrifice, it's the relationships that we end up building with our teammates as a result of the time we spent together. and spend together, and also what we do with our time. So I'm going to start with Saucon Valley. The team here has just been incredibly welcoming, from the membership side as its new golf professional to the staff side welcoming me and allowing me to launch many of these professional development programs. It takes a special person to want to be part of that environment. And everyone here on staff has welcomed that opportunity. And remind you, some of these conversations are not fun. It brings us to dark places, skeletons in the closet. But working through those and being there and realizing that this team supports each other in the manner that we do makes that all possible and fun and friendly in the end. So I just can't thank my teammates enough here. You can have a great coach, but I think you're only as good as your players. So the players need to get credit. So Mike Wood, our head golf professional, Chris Duckett, senior assistant, Ross Holtzclaw, assistant professional. Of course, we have a very large team, but that's our core group of professionals, full-time professionals that are really carrying us through this season and before. Outside of that, there's so many golf professionals that I didn't mention in this, so I'll keep it as broad as I can. But thank you to the golf professionals in the world that care as much as they do about mentoring everyone, because I would not be sitting here in this chair today, humbled by this honor, if it were not for them showing me how to be as a person and professional. So pardon the broadness of that thank you, but thank you to the many golf professionals out there that I've come to know, and those that I don't know that are doing the same work that I'm doing. So, but I appreciate that chance to thank everyone.